So we are coming to the next segment. So in the last segment, we spoke of Saturn moon. But how do you see, because there are endless combinations, but we can only take few today. How do you see Ketu moon?
As you know, I hold Ketu at a very high respect. You know that. No, I treat Ketu like people usually don't treat them.
Right.
To me, Ketu moon is a very, very spiritual combination if treated appropriately.
Yeah.
What it represents. As not going into major technicalities and boring people, Ketu and Rahu are also part of moon and the movement of earth and its intersection. So, in a way, let us say you have your mind as your moon and you have the spiritual content of God with your moon. So, the basic bottom line is God and your mind or your moon or your thoughts are together. So, to me, it is a positive combination.
But again, on the mundane level, it is seen as on a different level.
People generally get scared. A lot of people come to me. I have Moon Ketu. Somebody told me this. Somebody told me that.
Right. This is a general mindset,
and it is all bad. It is all bad. The problem is this only. But the basic bottom line is, Ketu is the messenger of God, and it is placed with your moon, saying that your mind and the wire that connects you to God, they are together in the chart. So it becomes a highly spiritually active chart. You may get very, very intuitive. I have seen people seeing future regularly for themselves and others. It's a very funny thing. Shastra says whenever Moon Ketu are together, do not say good or bad to others. Both may happen.
Both may happen.
So if you bless somebody, think about that blessing because it may happen. But even if you curse somebody, it may happen. So for Ketu Moon, anybody and people who talk to me, I generally tell them to try to keep quiet. Do not get swayed by emotions that I am too positive towards the guy. Your blessings will also work. Your negative aspect or your curses will also work on the person. Because you are spiritually so highly connected. That's the reason. This is the positive side of it. But what if you are not able to handle the energies of an intellectual or connected wire of God to your moon? By that I mean your moon is not chiseled, it's not inclined, it's not spiritually inclined, you are not able to listen to what God is trying to tell you. Or you do not listen to your antaratma or your intuition that people usually call it. But in the Shastra it is called your inner voice. The inner voice is supposed to be the voice of God or your guru or any spiritual guide who's guiding you. That becomes an issue if you're not listening to it. That is the more negative aspect to it. So people generally tend to lie when you have a Moon Ketu combination. Instead of going on the positive side, they start emphasizing on a position of power that they are not. So they have the habit of lying and portraying themselves larger than life or bigger on what they are.
In Ketu
Moon together. So generally, if not spiritually inclined or not handled properly, these people have a natural habit of portraying themselves larger than what they are. Or at times, if the moon is weak and Ketu is weak, inferior to what they are. They are more negative.
Yeah, that I have seen.
They are more negative. Nothing will happen to for me. I am down in the dumps. Nobody can. Yes, lot of depressive thoughts and lot of communicated depressive thoughts. They push your depression onto you. You talk to them and you start feeling depressed themselves.
But I have a very simple question. And I'm sure many of our audience wants to know, what I have done to have this combination?
Shastra explains it that if your Ketu moon is together, then something or the other has happened in the mother's family, or the soul that is your mother, you have not done something right to do.
Okay.
And if it is spiritually inclined and at the time of birth strong, that means Ketu is spiritually, intellectually chiseled, and so is the moon. That means that this soul that is your mother has been your guide or your guru in your last birth. So on the positive element, it is a very pure thing to have.
Right.
That the soul that is your mother in this birth has become your guardian in this birth, because this particular soul was your guru or your spiritual guide or the one showing you the way in your past life.
Yeah.
That as I said in the starting of the conversation, it is imperative that you start treating your mother nicely when you have a Moon Ketu combination. Is precisely the scientific or the Vedic reason is that mother is your spiritual guide. But what if it is not, and you have a weak Moon Ketu combination? That means differences in mother will rise, the mother's health may suffer. You may lose at times people 10%, 15% of the cases, they lose your mother at the early age. This is the negative aspect of it. Some things you cannot have, it's not in your hand. This is called the Bal arrest, or what happens before your 7-8 years. So if your mother passes before the 7-8 years, that is your prarabdha. That is your destiny that was not written. But if your mother is alive and you are not treating her properly, you are not loving or doing your duties towards your mother properly, then you are ruining a very, very strong and a beautiful spiritual, intellectual combination called Ketu.
We are in the very first segment, we spoke of Ketu in the 12th. That was done in a Hindi version. What if this Ketu is with Moon in the 12th house? Because on the off the record also you were telling me beautiful things about Ketu in the 12th. So what if this Ketu is with Moon in the 12th?
You see, first you need to understand Ketu. Why Ketu in the 12th? As we were discussing, it was taught by my guru, and it is written in the Vedic Shastra also, that who can tell about the future? Who can tell about the future? And you will be surprised that nowhere an astrologer can tell you about the future. It is nowhere written. Funny thing, but that's the truth. It was written that first of all, God Himself will come and tell you about your future, but only if you are very highly evolved soul. I mean, God will come down and talk to you directly. He will tell you the future, that this is how it is going to happen.
Ketu in the 12th.
No. Just let's say we understand what is basically how God communicates with us.
Okay.
Then I'll explain Ketu in the 12th. So the first aspect is God coming to you, but He will never come to you and me. We are not evolved souls, He may come to probably gurus like Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He come to other gurus,
Sai Baba,
who can directly have an interaction, because we talk about these gurus because they have been here. Some 100 years back they were all here,
right?
And they were present, and they were there because they could talk to God. So the first thing that future anybody can say is God Himself tells you. The second way is a young child, probably 3, 4, 5 years, who's still got the soul and connected to God, says something and it comes true. This is all written in the Shastras. That the child, from the mouth of a child comes the truth, that don't do like this may happen. And the third and the foremost, the important one for us people who are not evolved, stupid people, is that we see it in our dreams. What you call deja vu. So some people remember that I have seen this particular picture, not the entire thing, but some car will come from here, and I think I have seen this.
Right.
Some say that I heard this part of the conversation already. This is what Ketu is. So in the deepest of deepest meditation, when your God is connected to God, you can see the future. Or in the deepest of sleep, when you are at the theta level oscillating, and you are as good as in the highest meditative state, you see the future, or God Himself comes and talks to you about the future. But you do not remember because your Ketu, is not that chiseled. You have the connection, but you do not have the retention of that entire conversation.
Frequency.
No, you've seen it, but you are not able to retain it or remember it. Why? Because your Ketu was another level, your Moon was another level. So if you have a strong Moon Ketu combination, you may remember your dreams, you may remember your future, you may be so intuitive that you start predicting futures for unknown people also.
Right.
So there are people who just talk randomly out of the blue about this is going to happen without any knowledge of palmistry, astrology, samudrik or any, but they have this great intuitive power from which they say that this is going to happen and it happens.
And we were talking about the Ketu Moon combination. I have seen, like, if I think of, if I can recall the right memory, that I have seen, I have one of my uncle. He called me one day and he said certain things about me which really chiseled my mind, like how he can get to know which is only known to me.
Wow.
And when I saw the combination, say Ketu,
Highly intuitive.
Highly intuitive.
Very intuitive.
And he had no knowledge about Jyotish.
Yes, I have seen that. I have seen that.
But good, bad, ugly, he was able to see.
Yeah. They're very spiritually inclined. Maybe he must be doing meditation. He must be. If you ask him, he'll say that okay, I have.
Yes, he's into meditation.
Then it is possible. Then it is possible. Yes, I agree to it.
Very young fellow, no knowledge of Jyotish, but whatever he speaks, everybody listen to that in his family too. So, kai baar, like in many times they say Kali Zuban. They also say that if you have that combination tongue in the second house,
you have black tongue.
Black tongue.
Yeah, that is what I said. Do not say good, do not say bad for others. It will happen.
Okay.
It will happen. So Ketu Moon is to me, it is a very, very chiseled combination. But a lot of people misinterpret it as something negative. If you are not handling the energies, Ketu Moon is a very spiritually highly inclined soul you are. To be blessed with I wish I had. I wish I had.
Right.
But if you have it, then you are spiritually very, very ahead of most of the people. Right. Use it in the best of the ways. Don't waste it in predicting or impressing people. I have seen Ketu Moon combination. A lot of people are impressing that I will say this, and it happens. It happens. Do not waste your energies in impressing other people. Get spiritually more inclined. Get connected. You are blessed with an excellent intuition.
You have very good premonitions, like what is going to happen, just like you mentioned in the past, or maybe in the future also.
Oh, yes. I mean.
And this also reminds me, I saw a chart of a tarot card reader, but she was also do the oracle reading as a medium.
Okay.
Ketu Moon combination.
Ketu Moon has to be. One aspect is because Ketu is highly spiritually inclined, so these people have the tendency at times to hear about spirits, see the spirits, or become the medium, or they have the ability or may have the ability to communicate to the higher consciousness or the people with the higher consciousness or souls with the higher consciousness. But they are powerful people. In my opinion, they are powerful people.
But we are in the same segment. I want to cover. We spoke of Saturn Moon. We spoke of Ketu Moon, but how do you see Rahu Moon? Because it is the same part of the moon.
Again, people have this very negative aspect about Rahu. If I to make things clear, if you cut your mind into two parts, cut your mind into two parts. Let us say one part is earthy part, one part is spiritual part. Because everybody is we have both. Some of them are highly spiritual, some of them are highly earthy people, some of them are balanced. If you cut moon into two parts, one part is earthy part, one part is Ketu, spiritual part. So let us name the earthy part as Rahu and the spiritual part is Ketu. Most of the people feel that Rahu moon will give you hallucinations, will give you fits,
obsessions,
will give you obsessions, you will become a drug addict, you will be a boozer, or you will drink a lot, or things like this don't happen. It is just that the earthy part of the mind is connected with the mind. You will think more for earthy upliftment. You would want to enjoy more of earthy things in life. Probably fond of good clothes, probably fond of excellent food, best of the foods, best of the cuisines. You would like to wear the best of the clothes. you'll project yourself as earthy. You'll be wise, very wise. I have some very good friends who've got a Rahu Moon combination, and I always, in terms of my business, I go to them because Rahu Moon gives you that angle of approach which normal people cannot think on the earthy level. So they are excellent advisors when it comes to investing money.
Yeah.
They are excellent advisors when it comes to all your earthy deals that you want to do, any big business decision you want to take.
Yeah.
And if you have a friend who's got a very strong Rahu Moon combination, call him, and he will show you that side of the picture, the earthy side of the picture, or the business aspect, or the deal going through, that you probably were not able to even see or imagine.
Yeah.
So they are very, very shrewd, smart, intelligent, wise people. But they are considered to be manipulative because their intellectual power is way ahead of you. So he is my friend, and I know that he is a very, very strong guy to go to an opinion for. It is more of a chiseling, like we said, that in a Ketu Moon combination, there are negative aspects to it. Same with Rahu Moon, there are negative aspects to it. If you decided to do people or to make money out of people and to fleece people, then you have a great mind of Rahu Moon. That is why people say that these people are not trustworthy. But to me, in my mind, they are some of the best people who you can go to because their analysis of an earthy problem is par excellence.
It reminds me of, we have one combination I saw in a chart, Rahu Moon in the 5th, Lord of 12th. He was a gambler. He was a gambler in states.
Understandable.
But 9 out of 10 times, he used to bet and he used to gain. He was like the number used to come in front of him.
Very intuitive, but that is why I said, no, you use it how you use your powers is what it matters. To God, you've earned your powers. Now you use it to the benefit of the people.
Yeah. It all, yeah.
You are uplifting yourself. If you are using that to make money, then you are depleting it.
Yeah.
But Rahu Moon generally are very. I can also recall of a few charts with Rahu Moon in the 5th, but they are very good advisors to political personalities. One of them, maybe one of the person is probably a very, very senior intelligence officer. One of them is a research scholar. He's a PhD in outside the country and doing very excellent research on microorganisms and other things.
This is also where the consistent pattern I have seen with Rahu Moon, especially if it is falling in 8th, 2nd, looking at 8th, into lab work, into research.
It excites them,
Like Kide, like a bookworm.
Not like a bookworm. It excites them to find what is not being cracked by people.
Right.
So if you, if you ask me, then I'll put all Rahu Moon people either into intelligence, into great financial management, into research work, into designing new things. They're excellent weapon designers. Their concept of designing is, flawless at times. I have seen them in the research field. They are excellent. Rahu Moon is a great combination to make a lot of money also. Because of the earthy orientation, these people, that, like I said, you want a guidance, go to these people. They'll tell you where to invest, how to go about it. But only a strong Rahu Moon who's chiseled can guide you. They themselves are extremely rich people. Very rich. Yes, gambling, over drinking, drugs is the negative aspect of this combination. If you are into that, then God help you. Then you are wasting a very, very powerful combination into this. But if you are away from gambling, away from drugs, if you do not drink, you do not take anything that makes you lose your mind for some time, then this is a combination for money, power and prestige.
So thank you Bhaiya for this.